clarity on this topic, and to reduce the defensiveness that so often surrounds discussions of race. My thanks goes to Frances Kendall for alerting me to the way my use of the terms related to vision, blurry, blind, and so forth, as a metaphor related to our needed awareness around race issues might offend. I had never considered that my use of these words betrays my privileged status as an able-bodied person who takes sightedness for granted. Yet I, too, have been unable to find alternate language to convey the points I raise. For this, I apologize and remain open to suggestion. Also, I must confess that absolutely nowhere in this book do I treat the complex issues that face biracial and multiracial people who are part white. Admittedly, I focus on the easy split, those who are seen as white and those who are not. I do this primarily because much of the book draws from my search to develop a stronger and healthier sense of my racial self as a white person. Although I know several biracial people who are working to integrate their whiteness into a healthy racial identity, I do not feel sufficiently qualified to speak of that process. In addition to that, the dichotomy offered between white and people of color can also be seen as a vestige of my either-or thinking, so reflective of modern society. Even the term people of color troubles plenty of my colleagues, as it does myself, and yet I find no other way to move forward except to use these imperfect categorizing terms until some new language or approach arises. Ultimately, the model of witnessing invites a process, a journey that offers possibilities for an altered way of being that can lead to an effective anti-racist practice, but without defining an exact goal or destination. The nature of the path requires this open-ended beginning. This racial identity journey involves challenging terrain for everyone. The tone, therefore, reflects the need for each individual to determine how and to what degree this information should be utilized and incorporated. This may also be where my own faith enters. We must leave room for spirit to move, to guide, and to lead people toward their next steps. Also important to note, however, is that writing with this tone required me to move through a deep personal process. Had I attempted to write this book in previous years, the message would have been altogether different. The writing would have been less giving, more expectant, demanding, and judgmental. Both the tone and content would have reflected the fact that I was not resolved within myself about who I am as a white person. For me, part of my journey involved a wholesale rejection of my home community, my culture, and my sense of self. I fell into a troubling pattern that many distressed whites demonstrate. Part of that included unwittingly objectifying people of color as I turned to them in escape from my white life. I retreated into a world of color, what many describe as colorful garb, colorful music, and colorful people. At that time, I had strong negative feelings for anything that reminded me of my former, less aware, white self. I found conversations with most white people on matters of race fruitless. I now see that those conversations failed in part because they were not in the spirit of two people sharing dialogue. They were arguments meant to bolster my view of the world and break theirs down. I now feel more at home. I remain unsatisfied with the level of understanding of my white community in terms of race, but I accept my home community as flawed and in need of healing, like most communities. I now find conversations to be spirited moments of engagement and learning. Reaching deeply into myself.